phonics friends, I hope you're all healthy and well today. I have got such a tasty, healthy treat for us to make today. There's no baking, it's just quickly going to be in the fridge for a little while and then it'll be ready to eat for your morning tea or your afternoon tea, maybe even a breakfast or on a picnic, maybe even your lunchbox treat. I bet you can't wait to hear about what we're going to make. We're not going to listen to the sounds of just one letter of the alphabet today. We're going to listen to the sounds of some of the letters in our recipe. Do you know what a recipe is? Well, a recipe tells you what ingredients to put in your baking. Shall we have a look at the recipe? Here it is. We're going to make Cal's Crunchies today. That's me, Cal. First of all, we're going to have 12 dried apricots. I have a bag of apricots just over here. 12 dried apricots. Can you see the big letter A that it starts with? Sounds like the same sound of the letter A in the alphabet. Apricots. I have one just over here in front of us. There's the small letter A for apricots. And just like we saw on the bag of apricots, the big letter A. A for apricots, 12 of them. Then we're going to have 12 dates. D for dates. I also have a bag of dates here. Actually, the bag's empty because I've used them all for our recipe. See the big letter D? D for dates. I have the small one here as well in front of us. There's the small letter D. D for dates. The big letter D, small letter D. Makes a D sound for dates. Then we're also going to have a 1/4 cup of crumbs. I've used cereal crumbs, but you can use biscuit crumbs. And there's our letter C. This is supposed to be the big one, although it looks just about the same size, doesn't it? C for crumbs. C for Cal. That's what we're going to make today, Cal's Crunchies. Okay, shall we start with the ingredients in our bowl? I'll just move our recipe out of the way. I'll bring it back into the camera after we're finished so that if you want Mummy or Daddy to write it down for you, they can do so from the recipe. So we'll start with our dried apricots. They do need to be chopped up because they're just too big to go into the recipe whole, and I've already chopped up a few with a few of the dates in there. But boys and girls, if you have a blunt knife, not a sharp knife, you can also cut them yourself into little pieces. I've got 2 of them here. Before I pick them up with my fingers, what do I need to do? I need to wash my hands. As you can see, I'm in my schoolroom. I don't have a tap and basin with me, so I'm going to use my wet wipe. Washer, washer, washer. And then I'm going to put it in my bin just here. Remember my little glass jar bin? There it is. Okay, my hands are clean. I can now pick up my 2 apricots. There's one, and I'm going to use my blunt knife to cut them in half. Actually, I'm going to cut them in quarters. Quarters means 4 pieces. So can you see it over here? Yes, you can. Beautiful. Use my blunt knife to cut it in half. Please be careful of your fingers. Okay, there we are. You have 2 halves now. Remember, there was your whole apricot, and we've cut it in half. Now we're going to cut it in half this way. So we have 4 pieces. That's called quarters. Okay, I'll show you. There we are. Remember, I turned it sideways and then we cut it in half, and now there are 4 equal pieces. Those are quarters. We put them in our bowl over here of the ones that I've already cut up. I'll show you again in case that was a bit tricky for you. There's another whole apricot. We're going to cut it in half. And then we're going to turn it sideways and cut it in half again. And we will have 4 pieces, 4 quarters. There we are. Oh, they stuck together. There we are, 4 quarters of your dried apricot. We're going to do the same with the dates. I have 2 dates over here. If you don't like dates, you can use prunes, sultanas, cranberries. I've actually got some cranberries to add as well because I quite like them in my crunchies. But back to the dates. Cut them in half just like we did the apricot, and then turn it the other way and cut it in half again. So we have 4 pieces or 4 quarters. There you go. 1 dried date, into 4 quarters. Again, just in case you missed it the first time, there's my whole date. Going to cut it in half. Can you see over here? Yes, you can. Turning it sideways, cutting it half again, and we have our 4 quarters. Right, our apricots. Do you know what? I need another wipe. My hands are really sticky after that. Just getting my wipes over here. There we go. Wipe the stickiness off. So then we can put our dried apricots and our dates that are all chopped up into our jug. Have a listen to how they sound when they fall into the jug. Kind of like rain, doesn't it? Oh, there's just some last ones stuck there. All good. Yep. Now, like I said, I quite like cranberries in my crunchies because they've got a lovely flavor and they're quite juicy. They bring a berry flavor to the crunchy. So I'd say this is about maybe a tablespoon. Let's measure. I have a tablespoon with me. Can you remember, a tablespoon is bigger than the spoon that we eat with. This is the big tablespoon. This is the spoon we eat with. See, the tablespoon is bigger. I would say this is about a tablespoon of cranberries. Shall we measure? I'll tip them in. Oh, a few of them have fallen into the jug. Maybe a tablespoon and a half. Let's see. Yeah, 1.5 tablespoons of cranberries into the jug. Right. Next, our recipe says the 1/4 cup of crumbs. Now, just like we cut our dates and apricots into quarters, that was 4 pieces, we're also going to use a 1/4 cup of the crumbs, the cereal crumbs that I've crushed. A 1/4 cup would equal 4 of a big cup. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1/4 is a 1/4, like we did with the what are they called? Apricots and dates. Okay, now my cup's not quite full. My 1/4 cup is not quite full. So I'm going to use my spoon just to help me top it up because I don't want to spill crumbs all over the desk here. There we go. I'm going to use the smaller spoon to make it easier. Into the 1/4 cup until it's filled to the top. Then we're going to tip that into our dates, cranberries and apricots. Oh, spilling a little bit. There we are. My 1/4 cup into the dates, cranberries and apricots. If you want to, you can give it a stir at this stage to make sure the crumbs are all coating the fruit. By the way, you can use any fruit that you like. Dried apples, like I said, sultanas. What else is there? What other dried fruit do you like? Oh, our picture disappeared. There we are, we're back. Nelly, there we are. We're back. Okay, so the crumbs have coated our dried fruit rather nicely. I'll just give it another stir to make sure it's all coated together. That way the pieces of fruit separate and give you nice juicy mouthfuls of fruit when you eat them. Okay. And then our recipe says a 1/4 cup of coconut flakes. That's the same size cup as the crumbs. I'll just tip this straight in. Whoa! Okay, maybe a little more than a 1/4 cup. Overflowing there, isn't it? Into the fruit mix. Okay, mix it up so it can all blend together as well. This part you can do quite easily by yourselves, boys and girls. You just need a spoon and a jug and you mix all the ingredients together. And then last of all, we have a tablespoon of coconut oil. Remember, the tablespoon is the bigger one, this one. 1 tablespoon of coconut oil. I have my jar here. It's nicely softened. Oh, I don't want to spill. It's a flat tablespoon. I might put more in if it doesn't mix with the fruit mix nicely. There we go. Okay. Stir that up. And that might take a while to dissolve. Not dissolve, melt, sorry. The coconut oil will melt into the fruit because it's been in the fridge, so it's a little bit hard. But it's going to melt all together and make a beautiful, delicious slice. I think I will put a little more in. I think I'll do another tablespoon. Even though the recipe says 1 tablespoon, I'm going to put a little more in. That was another about 1/2 tablespoon, wasn't it? Mix it up until the coconut oil I said dissolves again, it doesn't dissolve, it melts until the coconut oil melts into all the fruit and the crumbs and the coconut. And there you have a beautiful mixture ready for a dish to go into the fridge. Here's my dish. I'm going to pour it in. I'll lift the dish up once I've poured it in. I've only got a small dish because the slice recipe makes about 6 squares once you've flattened it into your Tupperware. There it is. I'm going to flatten it nicely. Remember, my hands are clean, so I'm actually going to use my hands to flatten it nicely. You can use the potato masher or the bottom of a bowl or jar if you want yours to be nice and flat without using your hands. And there you have a container of Cal's Crunchies. You're going to place that container into the fridge for about 30 minutes and then they are yours to enjoy. Please let me know what fruit you put into your Crunchies and let me know if they were delicious. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.